Good day, everyone. I'm so glad to have been given the chance to talk to you, and I do hope I can impart valuable knowledge with you as I share my experiences working with and researching about the urban poor Filipino children. The title of my short talk is Socioeconomic Status and Language Development in Early Childhood. How can we level the playing field? My objective is to highlight the negative impact of socioeconomic status on the language development of young children and to emphasize the importance of good childcare practices in the development of a child. Let me just show you the following principles behind child development. First is that development is a lifelong process that begins prenatally. The first 8 years of a child's life form the foundation for all later development. Hence, early attention to the child's needs is critical. Development is a holistic process and consists of interdependent domains. Development and learning occur as a result of the child interacting with people and things in his or her environment. Healthy development is intertwined with the well-being of the child's parents and caregivers. Children's needs differ across the early childhood years in relation to his or her evolving capacities. And children are active participants in their own development and learning. In societies where poverty is a day-to-day struggle, children suffer the most as they comprise the most vulnerable group in any population. Children living in poverty are exposed to a variety of stressors such as food insecurity, abuse, and neglect, as well as limited educational resources and opportunities. Children in informal settlements are vulnerable to various health risks due to unsanitary living conditions and excessive exposure to indoor pollution. These are the reasons why poverty impacts directly on children's physical and intellectual growth. Poor children are at higher risk of having physical health problems and low birth weight and have a higher mortality rate during infancy and childhood than their more affluent peers. Children living in resource-limited settings fail to meet their full developmental potential because of poverty, poor health and nutrition, as well as deficiencies in child care. In the Philippines, 3 out of 10 children are at risk. Social and environmental conditions such as violence, unsafe and unstimulating home environment also negatively impact the development of a child. In times of economic crisis or natural calamities, it is the young family members who bear the brunt of the impact because of their vulnerability. When a family falls into poverty due to certain shocks, their children may cease to attend school and instead enter the labor force to augment the family income. This is backed up by studies reporting that children in poor families have the lowest school attendance rates, and many poor children start schooling at an older age than usual. According to the 2015 UNICEF report on child poverty in the Philippines is among the countries with the highest number of primary school-age children who are out of school. Why do young children do not go to school? Well, maybe because they lack personal interest. Why do they lack interest? Most likely because they're having difficulties learning. Why do they experience learning difficulties? Perhaps they're not ready. Why aren't they ready? Studies have shown that parents in poor households do not involve themselves in the education of their elementary school-age children. And this could possibly be due to lack of time, since the former are preoccupied with attending to economic activities. Family socioeconomic status is a significant predictor of performance of students sampled in the Philippines Early Childhood Education Longitudinal Studies published in 2021. This study has shown that children from low-income backgrounds consistently perform below their more advantaged peers on standardized measures of language ability. It's not just the academic performance that is affected. Students from low socioeconomic background had the lowest scores in the literacy and mathematics assessments. They also got the lowest scores in both parts of the social and emotional development survey. while students from higher socioeconomic backgrounds achieve the highest scores in all three domains. Republic Act 10-1410 or Early Years Act of 2013 recognizes ages 0 to 8 as the first critical stage of educational development. Hence, attention should be focused on ways to enrich language experiences across socioeconomic strata. All children have the right to live and develop to their full potential. It is our moral imperative to support children's well-being and quality of life. All children, without regard to gender, race, language, religion, or any other circumstance, should have the opportunity to develop to their full potential. Children living in especially difficult circumstances require additional support and special considerations. This is the intergenerational cycle of poverty. A child born from a poor family starts school developmentally vulnerable. This child struggles to learn and keep up with her peers. She drops out of school early because of lack of interest. This child soon grows to be an adolescent who lacks the skills to gain steady employment. And as she becomes an adult, she starts to have her own family, but lacks resources and skills to prepare her own children for school. And the cycle goes on. Early childhood education programs promote equity. By providing a fair start to children, it is possible to modify distressing socioeconomic and gender-related inequities. Children from families with few resources often fall quickly and progressively behind their more advantaged peers in their cognitive development and in their readiness for school and life, and that gap never fully closes. Investing in early childhood development can help to break the cycle of poverty and inequality, particularly among the most vulnerable populations. By intervening early and ensuring early childhood opportunities for disadvantaged children, we can begin to level the playing field socially and economically. We can do something to break this cycle, and the clearest pathway to breaking cycles of intergenerational disadvantage is to support children and young people to develop the knowledge, skills, attitudes, and behaviors that set them up to become productive adults. Children living in poverty are at the greatest risk of failing to reach their developmental potential. Optimizing care for child development at home is essential to reduce the adverse effects of poverty on children's early development and subsequent life. Early childhood education enhances a child's ability to learn, to work with others, and to be patient, and to develop a wide range of other foundational skills that are a prerequisite to formal learning and interactions in the school years and beyond. Failure to develop these foundational skills can lead to long-term, negative, and often irreversible effects on education, health, and productive earnings. The first years of life are critical in the development of the child. Rapid physical, cognitive, socio-emotional, and language changes begin at birth. Research shows that 85 to 90% of brain growth occurs in the first 5 years of life. What happens and what does not happen in a child's first years are not only determinants of how well the brain grows and how cognitive, social, and language skills develop, but also shapes lifelong approaches to learning. When babies and toddlers receive encouragement, stimulation, opportunities to play and learn, and emotionally attached to caregivers, their brain cells multiply and organize into high-functioning engines for future learning and growth. Research shows the importance of parental engagement and the home learning environment for educational outcomes, particularly from disadvantaged backgrounds. Hence, we have to support parents and encourage them to be with their children and read to them every day. As I end my short talk, let me highlight again the value of early literacy, which should begin at home. We all know the negative impact of poverty on the development of a child. We must level the playing field for them and help them break free from the intergenerational cycle of poverty.